I don't know why I do the things that I do. Welcome back to That's Rank, your home for food news and reviews. My name's Chris, and before I get too deep into today's coffee creamer, I have an exciting announcement that started this morning. I'm now a daily guest on the Milkman Show over on blasttheradio.com, where I get a chance to talk the insanity that makes up this channel. It kicked off today with a synopsis of who I am and where the channel was born, and then every weekday morning we are going to dive into another food-related topic. So, if you are loving what you see happening here on this channel, I do urge you to check out my segments on blasttheradio.com and then enjoy the music being spun by my good friend, the Milkman. And if you're new to the channel, having joined me from the BTR Army this morning, welcome. I am so thrilled to have you with me. So for today, we're going to be going through another creamer and ranking it in our ongoing series, and then stick around because I'm going to tell you about the best summer job that I ever had, which happens to be very on point given my announcement above because it was at a radio station. It was also a super unique job though, so stay tuned to find out more about that. Today's creamer comes to us from International Delight, and they've partnered with Hershey to bring us chocolate and caramel. I have nothing snarky to say about that combination. That sounds great. I'm legitimately stoked for this. When I lived in Manila, I went to the same Starbucks every single day, and all the lovely baristas knew me by name. They'd start off, with, "Hello, Mr. Chris," and sometimes they thought they had me all figured out because I ordered the caramel macchiato nearly every time. "Caramel macchiato, Mr. Chris?" they'd excitedly ask. And whenever they asked me that question, I'd tell them no and order something else. But only on the days when they asked me if I wanted a caramel macchiato. Legitimately, the idea of being predictable gave me such an itchy feel inside, I intentionally mixed it up to prove how unpredictable I was. I'm going to hell, aren't I? Anyway, if you're watching this, ladies, and especially you, Anne, I'm really sorry for being difficult. I don't know why I do the things that I do. Meanwhile, after a 1-week break, we return to using Krispy Kreme for our coffee today. Krispy Kreme, America's #1 donut and number 94 coffee blend. Krispy Kreme. So as a chocolate, Hershey's chocolate is not one of my favorites, and I can't put my finger on why, because I do love a lot of their other products, especially the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. But that said, in my coffee, oh my God. Oh my God. Honestly, it tastes like a caramel bar in a cup, or a caramello if you're an American. It really goes smoothly with the coffee. That is close to the Coffee Crisp one that I had. If push came to shove and I was gonna buy one of the creamers again, I'd defer to the Coffee Crisp only because it's just a little bit lighter, but this one's outstanding. I'm gonna give this a 90, which if we look at our updated leaderboard, makes this a top tier creamer edition, which is a very well-deserved spot for this blend. That's awesome. I'd grab some customer reviews for you, but this thing is rated like a 4.8 on Influencer. Everybody just gushes over it end to end, so just know that the universe loves this creamer. So all right then, let's talk summer job. I started my college year at 17 years old at Algonquin College, and I was taking the radio broadcasting program. Very early on, like maybe a month after I started in college, I got a part-time job at a local radio station, Cool FM. And I loved it there. Like, I was directly in the demographic of people who should be listening to Cool FM. It was 90s pop music. I was 17 years old. I'd listened to it all throughout high school. I was super stoked just to be working there. After about, 6 to 8 months of working there, a really cool opportunity popped up on the side. And I wasn't getting a lot of hours over at Cool, maybe working like 15 hours a week at $7 an hour. So any extra hours was welcoming, especially in the summertime once my classes were out. So the chum group of radio stations that I worked for were fairly ahead of their time. This is now the summer of 2000, and they were dipping their toes into the online radio world. And I can give a million reasons as to why I'm speculating what their reason was, but I suspect it's because it was unregulated by the CRTC, which gave them a lot more freedom to play what they wanted. This was going to be a massive venture. What they had in mind was essentially what Spotify is today. They had hundreds of potential radio stations you could choose from. Whatever song or whatever you wanted to listen to, you could just click your mouse and point to it. So as part of that large undertaking, they needed people to work overnights and rip music for them. So what do I mean by rip music? I mean pop a CD into a computer, have a program start to run, and just pull all the music off the CD, enter the name of the CD album, the artist, and the tracks, and then do another one. Now here's where the beauty of this job came in. It took about 45 minutes at a time to rip any singular CD. So maybe 15 minutes an hour I was left working, where I would just be doing some data entry and then starting my next CD to rip. This was perfect. And if it wasn't already cool enough with that much downtime, they had a TV and it had pay-per-view. And I know where you're getting your ideas, but I was not going to risk my job by watching that kind of pay-per-view. But it was super exciting for a broke student to get his hands on wrestling. This was at the peak of professional wrestling in North America. I mean, every single night of the week, I had something that I could watch. And because I was working overnights, I needed this to get me by. So on Mondays, I'd watch Raw. On Tuesdays, I'd watch Nitro. Wednesdays, Thunder, so on and so forth. Every single night was covered. And it was great because I was working 7 days a week. And that might sound like a lot of days, but I didn't really have much of a social life. I wasn't the legal drinking age in Ontario yet. I didn't have a girlfriend yet. That was coming soon, but not at that point. So for me, this job was ideal. Not to mention, because they're investing so much money in it and people were putting in so many extra hours, a lot of times food was being ordered and left behind in the company fridge. It was not uncommon for me to come in and find Saint Hubert or something sitting in the fridge, so I would just stuff my face with chicken, watch wrestling, and I think I played an awful lot of a game called Neopets. Look, I don't know if Neopets is still a thing. I'm pretty sure its target demographic was the 14-year-old girl, but there I was playing Neopets. Hey, if the site's still around, try to look me up. Let me know if all my pets are dead. I'm assuming they have long passed and turned to carbon. Unfortunately, like anything else, all good things come to an end. We were using fairly primitive software, and these were on 486 computers. So it was discovered that a lot of what we were ripping was having a lot of skips and things of that nature. I wasn't around during the days. The day guys were pointing their fingers at the night guys. The night guys couldn't defend themselves. And it just sort of reached a point where they just terminated the entire overnight team, which was unfortunate. They did have me work one final shift after letting me go, which I thought was very strange. It's the only job that I've ever been fired from, but I have since worked in jobs where I've unfortunately had to let some people go, and typically speaking, when you do that, you have security walk them out of the building. You don't let them work an extra shift. While I can't comment on what went down over the course of my last shift, I did giggle when a few months later, a close friend of mine let me know that the entire library of Harvey Hancock had been changed to Heavy Mancock. Much as I want to tell you that's funny to an 18-year-old, I'm 39 and I think that's hilarious. So what about you? What's the easiest kick up your feet entry-level job that you ever held? Comment below. I'd love to hear about those crazy jobs that had more downtime than up and how you spent all your extra hours. Of course, if you haven't already done so, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button to the channel. It is absolutely free and takes just a second of your time to ensure that you are the first to find out whenever new videos drop. Join me again tomorrow for one of the absolute worst things that I've ever eaten here on the channel. You are not going to want to miss this one. And in the meantime, ciao for now.